8 News at 6 starts now.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Ferrick.
I'm Juan Condi. Our top story tonight: if you drive, it could be your worst nightmare. Your car being struck by bullets.
It happened to two drivers last night. One of them, a state trooper. This all happening here on I-95 near the Bells Road exit.
And that is where we find 8 News reporter Jonathan Costin, who's been working the story all day. Very, very frightening, Jonathan.
And that's right. In fact, you got to keep in mind, state police have already beefed up patrols out here because of recent cases and incidents of shattered windshields. But they didn't know if those windshields were being shattered from other vehicles kicking up rocks. But as you mentioned, two shattered windshields last night, not from rocks, but from bullets. In the pre-dawn hours, around 1:15 in the morning, a state trooper was heading south on I-95 near the Bells Road exit in Richmond. And then
he heard a loud pop. Next thing he knew, he had a large crack in his windshield. So he immediately pulled over to the right shoulder, activated his emergency lights.
And within seconds of pulling over, another driver from Goochland County pulled off. Both were hit by bullets.
The one that struck the trooper's vehicle actually struck the hood of the trooper's patrol car and then ricocheted or deflected off and struck the windshield. On the other vehicle, at least that vehicle was struck twice by two bullets.
State and Richmond police searched the area for suspects.
That's the challenge when it comes to kind of one of these types of situations where someone may be shooting from a hidden from an obscure location onto an interstate. By the time an individual can stop, pull over, and actually get off the interstate, that person can very easily get away.
Fortunately, no one was injured, but police say this is no laughing matter.
If that bullet should penetrate through the windshield, you could very likely not only kill somebody, but also cause a traffic crash, a fatal traffic crash. So yes, there are very serious consequences.
So should drivers be worried or afraid?
Not a dumb question. Certainly, you know, a few years ago would not have been a thought, but now you have to consider all options or all items of this nature. It's a different world at the moment.
Now you got to be wondering, was the state trooper being targeted? Well, authorities say it's too early to tell, because you got to keep in mind it's hard to target someone when you're going around 70 miles per hour and it's dark outside. But regardless, authorities say they want to catch the guys responsible for pulling the trigger last night. Reporting live in Richmond, Jonathan Costin, 8 News.
New video tonight of Pope Francis arriving at the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception for this afternoon's Mass.
All right, news reporter Kristen Smith recorded this as the Pope did a loop back through the cheering crowd gathered there outside. Now let's take a look at the Mass that's still going on right now.
We're told that the Pope is actually celebrating communion right now. Kristen Smith has been following the Pope's visit since he arrived yesterday, and she has the latest for us tonight.
This Mass at the Basilica will be the largest event Pope Francis will participate in while he's here in Washington, D.C. It's the canonization Mass for Junipero Serra, a Franciscan missionary who is going to be made the first Catholic saint on U.S. soil. There are more than 25,000 people here to witness this historic occasion. On this gorgeous first day of fall, a first for all of Pope Francis' followers. The canonization Mass is a moment in history they'll always remember.
It's pretty incredible that it's here on this campus, and I was born and raised Catholic, so being able to be in the same place with my father is pretty awesome.
Richmonders Meg McManus and her husband Chris won tickets to the event through the Richmond Diocese.
It's so exciting. There's just so much energy surrounding it. There's just so many people here, and I don't know, we're all united. I think it's beautiful.
And while the memories will last a lifetime, thousands picked up more tangible reminders of this day, souvenirs.
When I was a kid, I used to have a Batman with a Batmobile, so I figured what better thing to have than the Pope with a Popemobile, right?
Coming up on 8 News at 11, highlights from this holy event and reaction from the people who were a part of it. In Washington, Kristen Smith, 8 News.
Pope Francis will address Congress tomorrow. Tonight, Virginia Senator Tim Kaine is talking about what he hopes will come from the Pope's visit.
What I personally most hope to hear, and not necessarily in the chambers, but during his visit, I've been so impressed by so much of what Pope Francis has done. As a Catholic, I still would love it if my church would frankly ordain women. I think if women are not in an equal place in the spiritual sphere of the great world faiths, then there will always be some who will use that to justify women not necessarily being treated in an equal place in all the earthly spheres.
We'll see if that happens. That's U.S. Senator Tim Kaine. Taking another live look now outside the Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. Pope Francis celebrating Mass there. He began his day at the White House, where thousands packed the South Lawn to say hello. Inside after, he had a private meeting with President Obama in the Oval Office. We'll have much more tonight at 11 on Pope Francis's visit to the United States, his first. Follow us at WRIC.com and on Facebook and Twitter.
Just in tonight, Longwood University in Farmville is chosen to host the 2016 vice presidential debate. It's the only debate that will take place between vice presidential candidates ahead of the 2016 election. Our 8 News anchor Amy Lacey joins us in the newsroom now with more on that. Amy?
Christina, the Commission on Presidential Debates made this announcement this afternoon. The vice presidential debate will be held at Willett Hall in Longwood's campus. It will be on October 4th of next year. The university, founded in 1839, is among America's 100 oldest colleges. The school says its efforts to host the debate received strong support from Governor Terry McAuliffe and Virginia's congressional delegation. Longwood has already created a website with information about the debate for the students and community, as well as mobile updates. Longwood's president, W. Taylor Reveley IV, released this statement. It says in part, "The energy of this event will run through and invigorate everything we do in preparing the next generation of citizen leaders for the historic years ahead, which the 2016 election will do so much to shape. This is a proud juncture for our great university." Other Virginia schools have hosted similar events. The University of Richmond hosted a presidential debate back in 1992, and the College of William and Mary hosted one in 1976. Juan, back to you.
Amy, today the owner of a dog found dead at a Chesterfield Petco faced the 2 people accused of killing her pet. 31-year-old Suzanne Jensen and 28-year-old Rebecca Witherspoon are charged with animal neglect, and neither spoke to 8 News as they left the courthouse this morning. Back in May, Allison Marks took her dog Colby to a Midlothian Petco to get it groomed. When she went to pick him up, he was dead. Petco accepted responsibility and fired Jensen and Witherspoon. Marks says she hasn't heard from either woman since her dog died.
It was hurtful to me because I don't feel like they care.
The judge presiding over the case continued it until November 17th.
In Petersburg, we now know the names of 2 people found dead inside a car on Oak Lane. They have been identified as Jeffrey Lundy of Dinwiddie and Patrick Comer from Colonial Heights. That pair was found outside the Summit Point Apartments yesterday. No word on a possible suspect. This afternoon, Petersburg's mayor released a statement saying, in part, quote, "In the recent weeks, we have been very concerned about the crime in our neighborhoods. Keeping our city safe is our #1 priority, and the city will continue to work collaboratively to make an impact against crime." 2 men charged in the murder of Jeremiah Jones entered guilty pleas just hours ago. Devin Thomas entered a guilty plea and was sentenced to 28 years behind bars. Joseph Phillips pled guilty yesterday. He will be sentenced in December. Jones was reported missing by his family New Year's Eve. His remains were discovered 5 weeks later near Poplar Grove National Cemetery in Dinwiddie.
Today's UCI races kicked off in Hanover at Kings Dominion. The park didn't charge admission, so folks could come watch the cyclists take off and then enjoy the park's rides after the bike rides. Convenient for Henrico and Hanover students who didn't have school today, because the races passed through parts of each county. Now, the UCI cycling races are just about halfway over, but fans and spectators are marking the event in a unique way at Fan Fest downtown. They're getting tattoos.
All right, news reporter Matthew McClellan is at the Richmond Convention Center with details on that.
That's right. What better way to remember this epic 9-day event than to get it permanently etched onto your body? If you look this way, a young lady getting a tattoo herself right this minute. Today, as well as Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, visitors at the Visit Richmond booth and Fan Fest will get the opportunity to get a free tattoo from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Absolute Art Tattoo has developed a flash sheet for the race. Today, dozens of people stepping up to get inked. Here's what one of them told us.
Well, a good experience. I was born and raised here. I mean, I've been other places and had other experiences, but this is home, so what a great way to show it, to have a symbol of Richmond tattooed on you. So.
And if you're not ready to get permanently inked, if you're not ready for that kind of commitment, there are also some RVA bike temporary tattoos. Reporting here at the Richmond Convention Center, Matthew McClellan, 8 News.
We're taking a look at the list of the tattoos that you can get,
pictures.
and it's too small for you to see at home, but they're like railroad spikes, and one's a pipe Others are birds. They're not
And
all bike related.
The state of Virginia, too, also.
Richmond's got a little
heart.
star on it. And there are some bike, and this is UCI, little logo right there.
You're still deciding on yours?
Mm-hmm. I sure am.
All right. Well, this Friday, we are taking 8 News on the move to the finish lines of the UCI races. Be sure to join us live. That's starting at 5.
Ask to see my tattoo. The summer is gone, but if you're still itching for a bit of vacation, we'll have some hints on how to save money doing that when you travel.
Plus, prices of one popular drug going down. Hear from the CEO why that's still ahead. John.
Well, here across central Virginia, a little sneaky sunshine got in here in the afternoon hours. That allowed for temperatures to make it all the way up to 79 degrees. After the morning low is 61. We've got a couple of cool days into the weekend. And speaking of the races, problems for the road races on Saturday and Sunday. It's looking pretty wet. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment.
We do the news where you live, and we want you to let us know what that is. So email your story ideas and your photos and your videos to ireport8@wric.com. You can also call the 8 News hotline at 330-8000. You're watching 8 News at 6. From Amelia tonight to Ashland.
Stay with us. Juan, John, and I are back in just a moment. Welcome back. Women right here in Central Virginia have complained to our 8 News investigators about this tiny birth control device. It's called Essure.
Tomorrow, the FDA re-examines its benefits and risks. This evening, we're learning more about what prompted that FDA hearing.
Our 8 News investigator Carrie O'Brien has uncovered new information tonight. So, Carrie, what have you found?
Christina, Juan, this citizen petition is part of what led to an FDA investigation and tomorrow's hearing in Maryland. It was filed on behalf of hundreds of women who have complained about serious complications with Essure. Everything from severe abdominal pain to heavy bleeding and allergic reactions. But this petition goes beyond medical complications. It accuses the manufacturer of fraud. The petition alleges the manufacturer Conceptus, which is now owned by Bayer, falsified and altered medical records during the clinical trials of Essure. It goes on to accuse Bayer of failing to report complications, deceiving the public and the FDA about the device's safety. One example, the birth control device was reported to result in 0 pregnancies during the trials. But this petition says there were actually 4, and it claims 8 perforations during trials were not reported to the FDA. In a statement, Bayer tells 8 News the FDA was made aware of the perforations and closed the inspection. Bayer states at one point in time there were a number of perforation complaints that were not attributed to the Essure device, but the equipment associated with the procedure. Conceptus appropriately addressed FDA observations and its complaint handling from a January 2011 inspection. During tomorrow's hearing, the FDA will take public comment, review data, consider if Essure should be restricted to certain women, and they may direct Bayer to conduct additional clinical studies. I will be at tomorrow's hearing, and I will keep you updated on social media and on air.
Thank you, Carrie O'Brien. Remember, if you feel like you're being wronged or swindled, you have something you need us to look into, you can contact the 8 News investigative team. Just email ireport8@wric.com.
The latest now on the Volkswagen scandal. CEO Martin Winterkorn has resigned. This after U.S. regulators revealed last week the company cheated on emissions tests on about 500,000 diesel vehicles. VW now faces more than 30 lawsuits claiming their cars are less valuable because of the scandal. The automaker also says it will seek criminal charges in regards to those emission tests.
The head of the drug company that makes Daraprim, which is used to help people with compromised immune systems, says he won't raise the price of an essential drug as much as he first said. But Martin Shkreli of Turing Pharmaceuticals isn't saying how much he'll charge for that medicine.
To lower the price of Daraprim to a point that is more affordable and is able to allow the company to make a profit, but a very small profit.
He's changing his tune after social media gave outcry when the price of one pill was raised more than 4,000% from $18 to $750.
Up next, is it better for your baby to keep his hands off your tablet and your smartphone?
We'll have the latest for you on a new study when we come back.
8 News closed captioning is sponsored by AAA. Great advice, great insurance.
Welcome back. More controversy about whether or not babies should be allowed to use tablets. Scientists say new research shows they can actually help with educational development. But other researchers say the risk to development outweighs educational value. Meanwhile, the American Academy of Pediatrics still recommends avoiding screen time for kids under the age of 2.
All right, summer is over. Summer vacations are over, but the fall season can bring you some great travel deals. Travel experts say with gas prices so low, a short drive to a festival or scenic leaf tour is a nice way to go. If you're looking for something a bit more exotic, cruises can be up to 60% off during the fall months. If Europe, perhaps Paris or Prague, is on your list, or are on your list, I should say, airfare generally falls in the fall. And if you book a package that includes a hotel and car rental, you may be able to save even more money. John?
Well, time to talk about one more day of okay weather for us before things take a turn for the worse. If you don't like rainfall headed into the weekend. The weather where you live outside right now, it's 74 degrees Fredericksburg to Tappahannock, 75 degrees in Ashland, about 74 to 75 or so as we head down Interstate 95 towards Petersburg, although Quentin out there by Patriots Landing checking in at 71. The radar's quiet now. I think in about 48 hours, this thing's going to light up with a whole bunch of colors across central Virginia and create some problems for us. The reason why that pesky weather system, this part sitting just east of the Carolinas, kind of taking a little break right now, but another one starting to develop down to the south. These two are going to merge, and they're going to get swung back up over us here, and that is going to make for some unsettled weather. As we head into Friday night and Saturday, you see this cloudiness gathering to the east of Savannah right now and southeast of Charleston. Another system out here, some pretty stormy weather across the Central Plains. It's mild back here over the Ohio River Valley, mild out west. And we've got two storms. This one, which isn't going to move very fast, and the one that's stuck right here. When this guy comes back our way, it's not going to be stuck, and it's going to be pretty wet. So the upper 50s to the lower 60s tonight as we look at the forecast across central Virginia. In the futurecast, enough breaks in the clouds tonight to call it partly cloudy for most of us. We'll see a little more cloudiness starting to brew up towards early tomorrow morning. We have real low clouds. Those will burn off, give us a little bit of a break as we go through the day. So mixture of sunshine and cloudiness on tap through Thursday afternoon. Remember, tomorrow's UCI, it's a training day, rest day. They'll be practicing for the road races. If they have them tomorrow, that'd actually be pretty good as far as the weather conditions. But starting tomorrow night, clouds on the increase for us from 7 p.m. onward, maybe a sprinkle down along the Virginia-North Carolina border. Then Friday, it's back into the cloudiness. And here comes the rain, lurking just to the south at noon. By 7 o'clock, it's on the doorstep for us here, and things are going to look wet over the weekend. High temperatures on Friday right around 75 degrees. Tonight's forecast pretty good, partly cloudy. We'll get a few more clouds maybe later on. 61 degrees for the low here in the city. During the day tomorrow, we'll look for a mixture of sunshine and cloudiness, up to about 78 to 80 for you in a few spots across central Virginia. And then as you look at the 8-day forecast, 75 Friday. Here comes the rain Saturday and Sunday, and some showers could linger into Monday. And then Tuesday onward next week, looking really rather nice.
Coming up in sports, one of the marquee events of the UCI Road World Championships happened today. Highlights of the men's elite individual time trial next in sports. Welcome back. It's time for the 8 Sports Report. Today, from Hanover to downtown Richmond, the men's elite individual time trial took over Richmond. A few guys to take note of today. This is Lawson Craddock. He's on 2 wheels. I'm on 2 feet. He's a lot faster than me. That's the way it works. He rode away from me. I tried to get him. He kept riding. Then it was time for him to start, and that's him whizzing by me at the start at Kings Dominion. Now, Lawson started the race, finished the race in about an hour and 5 minutes. That was good for 22nd place, of course, nowhere near the top. Now on to Taylor Finney. He is 25 years old. He's from Boulder, Colorado. He finished 12th today with a time around an hour and 3 minutes. So there are your Americans. One of the favorites, that's Australian Rowan Dennis. Kind of a rough day for the Aussie. He started 4th to last. Supposed to be one of the fastest, but out there on 301 in Hanover County, had to change bikes. That delayed him about 20 to 30 seconds. He finished 6th today, even with that. Next up, Germany's Tony Martin. He is the favorite, the last one to start, sweating like a hog before the start, and just did not have it today. Not himself, finished 7th after a long season. So that leaves us with this guy. His name is Vasyl Kirienka. He's from Belarus. Vasyl Kirienka had the ride of his life, a member of Team Sky, finished in an hour and 2 minutes and 29 seconds. And he is your winner. Wears the rainbow jersey. He is your world champion.
My name is Sayoa Flood. I'm a quarterback at Monica High School, and you are watching the 8 Sports Blitz.
Making the awkward transition to high school football now. Monacan just got underway against Huguenot at Monacan thanks to the UCI Road World Cycling Championships. You'll see some highlights tonight. But moving on to the 8 Sports Blitz Team of the Week, it is the Freeman Rebels. Freeman knocked off then-ranked 9th-ranked Atlee 21-14 at home Friday night, and the Rebels fans rushed the field. They had come from behind to win the game because they were down 14-7 at the half, scored that touchdown on defense, and then they went out and shut out the Atlee offense in the second half while scoring 2 offensive touchdowns. So through 3 games, the Rebel defense has only given up 21 total points, and Freeman is 3-0.
We've had some pleasant surprises, I'll put it that way. We had some question marks coming in, but like I said, the guys have stepped up and really taken ownership of their positions, and we've been pleasantly surprised.
As long as we keep working hard, I think I like our team's chances a lot. Have a lot of fun. It's a lot more fun when you're winning.
We had a ton of new starters coming in, but we all kind of gelled together pretty early and found a way to get on the same page really fast. So it's a great job the way everyone's playing it out.
That's it for sports. I'm Mitch Carr, and we'll be right back.
Here's a final look at that 8 News Storm Tracker forecast.
And here across central Virginia, partly sunny skies tomorrow. Clouds thicken up for you on Friday. Weekend is looking wet. Might get a break in the rain on Sunday afternoon. And then the showers should be exiting by Monday.
All right, though, we need that rain. Thank you, John. Thanks for joining us tonight for 8 News at 6.
We're back after a fantastic primetime lineup. A bunch of your favorite shows have new episodes. We'll see you at 11.